Welcome everybody to the pre-meeting prior to the workshop meeting. Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Askoff,
Present.
Commissioner Allison,
Present.
Commissioner Bonfiglio,
Here.
Commissioner Lucibella,
Present.
Mayor Pugh.
Here. All right, we'll go ahead and begin. Ken, would you like to, or Jamie, would you like to start off with the resolution?
Certainly. This special meeting was called for to consider the resolution before you, resolution number 2016-01. This is a resolution of the Town Commission of Ocean Ridge, Florida, declaring January 29th, 2016 as Karen Hansack Day in the town of Ocean Ridge. It's authorizing an invitation-only employee recognition luncheon on that day in recognition of the outstanding service provided to the town by its retiring town clerk, Karen Hansack, declaring that the expenditure of town funds to hold said luncheon for town staff and designated invitees serves a public purpose within the town's home rule authority as provided for by the Florida Constitution, Florida statutes, and providing for an effective date. Which mirrors the title of the resolution. As you all know, we are celebrating Karen Hansack's 35 years of service to the town, mostly as the town clerk, but also in other capacities earlier on in the career. And Friday is Karen's last day. We have a luncheon scheduled for her. We have an open house scheduled for her, and we would like to honor her with this designation of that day named in her honor in perpetuity. It's a one-time day. You really don't win anything or get anything, but a day named after you.
Okay.
So,
You gonna have discussion, or you just need a motion?
Well, we do the motion, we'll do discussion.
Also move to adopt resolution number 2016-01.
And I'll second.
Motion and second, public comment? To the podium.
To the podium.
Can you hear me? Is the audio on?
yes.
Terry Brown, Harbor Drive South. I listened to the audio in YouTube, and my voice sounds very good. I should have been an actor or a singer or something. That works very well. And I did want to say that I've lived in this town for 25 years. I've had a lot of interaction with the town employees, and in particular Karen Hansack, who has done an outstanding job. It's true what you said in this resolution. And as I pointed out, I think at the last meeting, I've done a lot of improvements on my house that required permits, and Karen and the people that work for her really know what they're doing, and they really do a fine job. But when I talked to the town manager about the expenditure for this lunch at a private, restricted membership club for an select group of people, some of whom were fired previously, who are on the invite list, I questioned whether or not that was an appropriate expenditure. And he told me that the town attorney told him that if you listed it as an employee event, then you're covered. It turns out that it's not an employee event. It's a private party for someone retiring, and it's being paid for totally by taxpayers. And I strenuously objected to that. I've never known of a agency paying for a retirement party for this many people, and certainly that cost. The average cost, by the way, is way over $50 per person, approaching $70 per person if only 30 people show up. And it's not an appropriate use of public funds. I recognize that you want to do this, and you're eager to do this, but it is taxpayers' money. And does this resolution actually make the expenditure a public purpose? Just because you've declared it.
Well, can I interrupt you?
You want to interrupt? Go ahead.
Well, because if you keep going, I just want to interrupt you to say that I'm very grateful for a anonymous donor who stepped up and is paying for the whole thing, so your point is moot.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Now, that wasn't what was told to me previously when I talked to Jamie Titcomb. So that's good, because I wanted to point out that every place that I'm associated with in government, when I retired, my subordinate people paid for the lunch. When my wife retired, the people who attended that lunch bought a ticket. When Bob Weissman retired, all of the people bought a ticket. So
Okay.
that's wonderful. So we're
great.
not going to be any public expenditures, even though it says in here they're public expenditures.
Well, you didn't let us finish, so.
Okay, go ahead.
You jumped up for public
Well,
comment.
you asked me to do the public
You wanted
comment.
to put yourself out there now. It is.
I'm okay with that.
So it's a moot point. Do we
You
need
wanna
any
cut
more
my arm off?
discussion? Any more discussion? Really?
Are you finished?
I'm asking you, sir.
Yes, I am finished if that's what's happening. Thank you.
Yeah, this is what's happening.
So it worked out, right?
It's worked out wonderfully. Yes, sir.
Just to clear the record, first, it's an employee recognition event, not just an employee event. The limitation is basically staff and commissioners, people who now work here, and certain select invited guests, invited by Karen, that she would like to have there. Thirdly, there is no prohibition on having a function like this at a private club. In fact, if we were to have it in the town of Ocean Ridge, which would be an appropriate place to have it, and particularly since employees would be away from the town hall from 12 to 2, doing it within Ocean Ridge is preferable, and there's only one place that really could have handled it. And finally, Mr. Brown is incorrect when he says that just because the town calls it a public purpose does not make it a public purpose. You have home rule authority to make determinations on what a proper public purpose for spending town funds is for. The Attorney General has opined in this very specific instance that a recognition event for a longtime employee is a public purpose if the town determines that it is beneficial to employee morale and acknowledges someone who has been around a long time. I recognize what Mr. Brown is saying about state government. State government operates under different rules than municipal government does. This is also not the same as Bob Weissman's dinner event, which was open to the public and to anybody who wanted to buy a ticket. And the county operates under its rules. And you operate under your home rule. And home rule basically means you can do anything that is deemed to be in public purpose, so long as it's not specifically prohibited by the Constitution or state law. And there is no state law I'm aware of, and I did research this when the issue came up, that would preclude you from doing it now. The issue of the expenditure is moot at this point. I would still suggest and recommend that you pass the resolution for two reasons. One is the provision declaring it Karen Hansack Day, and the second is to establish your authority to do it.
Thank you, Ken. Commissioner Lucibello.
Yeah, I don't want to see a cloud come over this event. This is supposed to be a joyous event. But I got to tell you, we were talking about an expenditure of less than $1 per residence in this town, and I don't know other than one of a single person that would have objected to that, especially given the town attorney's explanation. And I got to be honest with you, questioning this for a 35-year town employee who is leaving, and she's got her own problems leaving us, as we can all understand. It's an emotional time. To challenge this is probably the single most mean-spirited action I have seen taken by a resident of this town. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I don't think that deserves a response. I think that somebody got up there, made their point, made accusations about what we were doing wrong. I've responded, and I don't believe it requires a debate.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? You had your say. You had your say. Enough, please. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. And we have 14 minutes to the next meeting.
You could adjourn this one at this time.
Meeting adjourned. The first meeting adjourned.